Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are doing the next episode of our silhouette seminar series. We've been looking at single layer cutting over the last couple of weeks, and today we're going to be taking that one step further to heading towards our multi-layer cut, like a full multi-layer, say a real kind of, I don't know, like a little critter or something that's going to have, you know, the little paws, the nose, the eyes, and all of these layers that we're going to have to work out. This is kind of between the two because we're going to be looking at matting and layering. Now this obviously is one of probably the most used techniques in card making, so to be able to do it on our silhouette is going to be really helpful. I think with plain squares we can obviously cut these out by hand, but doing that on the silhouette means that what you achieve is absolutely accurate and absolutely perfect every time. But I think what the silhouette gives you even better is that you can take a shape and then mat and layer it. It doesn't matter, the principles and how you work it are exactly the same. So we're going to start with just our square, and then I will just quickly run through a shape as well, just to show you exactly, you know, how it looks and that it really is no different. So when you're getting your square, you can either go to your library and pick out something from your library, or you can use this buttons up here. Now you've got drawer buttons, and I would tend to go for these because, and it's much easier than rummaging around our library trying to find that square. So the first thing you do is you click on draw a rectangle. This is the one with the square corners, but if you want the rounded corners you've got that as well, but I'm going to go for that. And then all you're going to do is come onto your page, you're going to left click with your mouse, that's normal clicking, left click, hold it down, and then pull your mouse and drag your mouse over till you get roughly the size you want. You do not have to be perfect. In fact, it doesn't really matter at all, but I tend to just go to something that looks sort of a reasonable shape. So once we've done that, we're going to click back on our select tool up here, and this means that we can then click on this and we won't be continuously drawing more squares. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to find the window that sets the size and dimensions of our images. So here we are over at the scale window, so we're just going to click on that, and then here you've got your sizing. So what we want to do is set our sizing. Now in this particular instance we don't want the lock aspect ratio button clicked because we are not trying to keep this in proportion top and bottom. We're trying to set the length of the width rather and the height separately and independently of each other. Your ratio button, your lock aspect, is when, say, you had a letter and you wanted to set the height, but obviously you want the width to be in proportion to the height because otherwise your image would be stretched. So that's when you would do something like that. The other thing where you want that is actually when you're doing your matching and layering, you might use that to create your second layer. So let's go for, taking that off first of all, let's go for 4 by 6. Let's just go under 4 by 6 because I don't know why I'm doing it like that. So let's do 4 by 6. Oh, I went the wrong way. Hold on. So 6 because the width is at the top, and then 4. Okay, and then you've got that there, and then you click apply. So that's my kind of almost a standard A6 card. So we've got that set at the 4 by 6, so it's nice and simple to do. So there are several ways that we can now create our next layer as our mat and layer. Now when creating your mat and layer, you may think that by grabbing hold of our box here and copying and pasting it and then just changing the size on our scale window here would be a good enough way to actually create your mat and layer. However, let me show you what happens. So we're going to copy and paste. So right click, copy, right click, paste, and you have a second image. So I'm just going to roughly line it up, and this will just show you how it looks when we take it down for our matting and layering. So let's take this down, the width, to 5.75. And our aspect ratio is locked because that will proportionately change that size. And we bring that down, and let me zoom you in a little here and take that off. Now what you can see here that's happened is the sides, the width will be accurate, but the top and bottom has changed so that the proportion and the scaling, the way that it works, means that those dimensions don't work. So what you would have to do is actually to click off your lock aspect ratio and pop this dimension in yourself. Now you know that you would want to take it a 1/4 inch. If you were doing this by hand, you would be taking it a 1/4 inch down on the width and on the height. So we know that the 6 inches here would go down to 5.75 and the 4 inches would go down to 3.75, and then we would click apply. So that would give us our proportionate, I mean if it was centered, but that would be correct on all sides. And it's just the way that the lock aspect ratio works. It's a percentage game, and so when it takes it down, it doesn't take it down a 1/4 inch on all sides. It goes, oh, that's X percentage that you've reduced it on, that's on the width, so I need to reduce it X percentage on the height. And that usually means that the dimensions don't quite work out as even as we'd like. So that's one way of getting our mat and layer, so we could then cut that out nice and easily. So let's delete that one for the moment, and we want to create another. I'll show you another way of creating a mat and layer, and I think this way is probably a nice easy way because you could create a whole host of mats and layers by doing this way, and you know it's going to be really accurate. So what we want to do is go up here to the offset window, click on this. So here's our window, our box. We're going to click on internal offset. Now you can see immediately there's a second line, and that's on the inside of our original line. Over here some other buttons start to become highlighted. So what we've got here is rounded corners, normal corners, and then you've got the distance of your offset. So you can do it as a slider, and you can see you can go a pretty big offset, or well, you could go pretty much all the way down to nothing, or you can use your absolute button here, and you could put that you wanted to offset it by 1/4 inch, for example. So then it automatically sets that up ready. It's all even round all sides. It's put evenly within your mat, so if you wanted to cut this as a frame, for example, that could stay like that. It would be perfect. You can then just grab this inner square and you can take that off and cut it. However, if you wanted even more layering, you could then, clicking on that one as your box, you could then think, well, I want to go down again, so internal offset, make that 0.25 again, 1/4 inch, and then you've got a third layer. So you can create your own nested shapes, whatever shape that is, and you can create it yourself, and you can keep going till it's as teeny as you want. And of course you can even go think, oh, I wish I'd gone bigger. Then you can, it's not difficult to do, and then you just do that and whatever size you want, but keeping in with our 0.25 thing, and then you can just go bigger. So you've got a whole group there of nested shapes, and I would say that this really is the easiest way to do it. You know it's going to be absolutely accurate. You haven't got to worry about working out the height and the width yourself, and I would definitely say to you this is the way to go, and it is so simple to do. So let's just grab another shape now. So let's just go to a blank piece here and just grab something else. Let's use this lovely scalloped label. So here we have a gorgeous scalloped label. I'm not going to worry too much about the sizing. Let's just scale it to something even. So let's make it 3 inches and apply. So we've got it there, and then we're going to go to our offset window. So nice and simple, straight to the offset window. Now, do we want to go bigger or smaller? Let's go larger, and this time I'm pretty happy with that amount, 0.125, so basically 1/8 of an inch. So that looks pretty good, and we have a lovely shape ready and done, and then we can just cut that out and we have our layers. And you can see how simple that is. So and then if you wanted to make it nested, you could keep going. So let's put that one over here. Let's come out and let's just cut these out and show you how they come together. Okay, so I've loaded up my mat and I've placed the paper according to my virtual mat. So we're going to then pop that into the machine and then just check our blade settings and everything. So just lining it up with the little line at the side there, and then going across to our machine and sending to silhouette, and off it goes. Now it looks like I've got that on a pretty slow cut setting, which is something I should have adjusted. Okay, so here are our pieces all cut out, and I think you can see how lovely they look. So let's just take the two elements and we're going to pop one on top of the other. So just lining it up. I'd already put some sticky on the back, so you can see the layering on that. Doesn't that look really nice? And how perfect is that? You know, it's just perfect layering. And then we'll take the other piece, and this is the other way round with the red on top. There we go. There we go. Doesn't that look nice? So how simple is that to do? And you know, if your machine is connected to the computer and you can easily access it, then to cut out your layers and stuff on your silhouette, you're always going to have a perfect matting and layering. And also you can do something a little bit different with the shapes as well, so it makes it much more versatile than perhaps doing it by hand. Anyway, I hope you found this silhouette seminar helpful, and I'd love to hear your comments. Do go on over to my corresponding blog post and see the post that goes with this video, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.